Jesus, I long to be holy. Jesus, I long to be real. In a world of broken people, so many need to be healed. So purify my hands to hold them. Purify my heart to burn with devotion for you. Lord Jesus. For the power to cleanse and redeem us is in the blood of the Lamb. Oh, I'm not ashamed of Jesus, my Lord, my lover, my friend. For the power to cleanse and redeem us is in the blood of the Lamb. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. They're eating their filthy rags. Okay. Hey, Granny. Okay. Well, yeah, I'm still on Periscope. How are you? I'm just trying to see. It doesn't look. Let's see. Yeah, it doesn't look like I'm coming up on Periscope. So, there you go. If you guys are here, just go ahead and say a quick hello. Here we go. Well, let's see what happens. Okay, used to get notifications, but no more. Well, Granny, you know, that's just what happens. That's just what happens. Hey, Suzanne, how are you? Okay, let's see if we can actually, hopefully, lost you this morning. No. Okay, nope. We're good. We are good to go. Let's just see. I'm trying to. I can't even. For some reason, it's just not showing up. You got me on Periscope. Did you share it, Kath? Honey, I appreciate it. I appreciate you. Yes. Yeah, I can't. For some reason, it's just not actually showing up, which is really weird. I just keep trying to refresh it, but nope, it's just not showing up. So go figure, go figure, go figure. Okay, I'm gonna, it's okay. It's all good. We'll do it. You got me on Periscope. Hopefully that you guys are starting to get something. Let me just see. Little Jason Upton, just to get you guys. Okay, we'll go back and search more. Okay, we'll see. Yeah, well, no, there's stuff, but that's okay, because we are going to get everybody up. We're going to get everybody excited. Oh, you found me on Twitter? Oh, thank you. Oh, thank goodness for Restream. I don't even know if on YouTube. I just don't know. But yeah, but the Lord was really been talking to me. I can't see you. Let's see. I can't see you. Share only here. Oh, okay. So just on Facebook. Good to know. That's okay. That's okay. If you guys can just share it, and let me see what I can do on my end, but we'll get the message out. It's okay. Those who home sale is going on now. Sorry, those who need to hear will hear, and we'll share it out. I was going to do it, and I didn't want to do it during Greg's, so that's why I decided to wait until after Julie. So anyway, just give you guys a few more minutes, and so go ahead and like share this out. I'm going to try and see if I can share this out, and let me see if I'm gonna. Oh no, it's showing up. It's showing up. Okay, hold on. Let me just see if I can. Let me just see. Okay, it's showing up here. All right. I can't do it for some reason I can't do it on my computer, but I can do it on my phone. So there you go. So that's okay. We're good. We're good. We're good. I'm going to go ahead and share. Let me just see if I can get some stuff. Yeah, I'm going to put it on some Parlor. I'm going to try and get it out there. So, Mama Karen's in the house. Hello, you got me on Cloud Hub. Awesome, awesome. Thank you. If you guys have not subscribed to my Cloud Hub channel, please go ahead. Oh, what the heck? Just go ahead and see if you can. It seems like working. Let's see. Okay, I think we're still good. Okay, we're good. So I'm just retweeting, make sure that I'm sharing it out. It looks like we were good. Hey, Darren, I see you there. So yay. Okay. Alrighty, let's get into some of the things that God has been sharing with me. As some of you may not know or may know, my name is Lisa Ferna, and I believe that everybody has a good God story, and every God story is a good story to share. So if you would like to follow along with me, you can actually go to my website, which is touchedbyprayer.com. You can also find me on Facebook, on Twitter, on Periscope. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is Touched by Prayer TV. And of course, you can join me over on the Cloud Hub channel 131. And if you subscribe to that, to my Cloud Hub channel, you will always be notified when I go live. So that is key, especially in some of these times. So anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to share what the Lord has been really kind of talking to me about, because wow, there's just so much that is out there, and we can sometimes wonder how we are supposed to navigate through this season. And I really heard the Lord say to me on Sunday, he was saying to me, he said, Lisa, hold on to your promises. Hold on to your promises. And so yesterday was just one of those days. I did my crown chant in the morning, and it was good. But then, there came a moment of discouragement, and it's in those moments of discouragements that sometimes, we'll want to just turn and run. We'll just say, I don't want to do this anymore. It's just too hard. I can't stand. I can't wait for this promise. I can't wait for the breakthrough. I just want to give up. I just want this to be over. I just want this to be done with. And I don't think I can do, Lord, that you've called. I don't think I'm ever going to see that restoration. I don't think I'm ever going to see that provision. I don't ever think I'm going to see that healing. I don't think. Well, that is the problem. We don't have to think, but we do have to trust, and we do have to know that if God has said something, it is his desire to fulfill it. So how do we do that? Well, I was listening to Dutch Sheets, and he's been talking about something, and he's been talking about Elijah. And if you've been listening to me, I've been speaking about 2 different places. Actually 3. I've been talking about the Elijah. I've been talking about the David. I've been talking about Esther. I've been talking about all of these characters. And well, let's actually say I've been talking about 4 things, because I've been talking about Moses. So those the 4 people I have been and talking about how that God was able to harden the heart of Pharaoh, how David was able to encourage himself, and he was able to go forth. But, I'm going to add somebody to this mix, and I'm going to add in Daniel. When Daniel started to pray, he said as soon as he started to pray, he didn't see anything. And so for 21 days, he decided to go into a fast. And in this fast, what he decided to do is he was not going to eat anything pleasurable. He was just going to eat stuff to maintain so that he could just survive. He wasn't trying to thrive. He was trying to survive. And so in this process, he was fighting, and he was holding on to the promises. He sent up a prayer request, and he waited for 21 days. And at 21 days, an angel came to him, and the angel said to Daniel, he said, now hear this, the minute that the angel, Daniel, the minute that you prayed, the Lord sent me, but there was a battle. He said there was a battle in the second heaven and I couldn't get to you. And it took 21 days. But see, during that 21-day time frame, Daniel had to fast, had to pray, and had to trust and believe. See, sometimes what happens is that we send up the prayer gets answered, and it starts to come down, but we forget that we need to pray it into existence, that we need to pull it down. And the other thing is that, it's just like with a baby. You get a baby, but you still have to do what you need to do. You need to carry it. And then there's a time where you have to push that baby out. If you don't push that baby out, that baby is going to die inside of you. That's right. I'm just going to say that. So there are times that we have to pray and we have to push and we have to be and contend for those things. Hey, Andrea, you're not too late. Right on time. So as we start to pray and as we start to believe and as we continue to pray, what Dutch Sheets, I shared it on my Twitter, and I'll see if I can actually share it on my Facebook page. But there was something really interesting that he started to say. And what he started to say is he said that God is sovereign. Yes. And he wants to do what he wants to do. And I've been saying that it takes us, the body, in order to bring these things to pass. God uses people. He uses people. Well, what can we do? Lord, it just seems like it's so big. And my gosh, Lord, I don't know how to do this. Well, I believe that we're in a season where we need to be like David, where we can go and we can confront the enemy. But I also believe we have to come into that place of prayer where we can pray for the breakthrough. See, when Elijah actually said that there was going to be a drought, the minute that the Lord said that the heavens were going to be released, that rain was going to come, it said that he prayed, and then he sent out a servant, and then he prayed again, and he sent out a servant, and he kept praying until he saw the cloud. And as soon as he saw the cloud, he knew his prayer was done. And that's where I really believe that as intercessors in this moment in time, it is so important for us to continue to pray without ceasing. I don't believe that he wants what he wants, but it's going to take us, the church, to go ahead to do what needs to be done. And so I believe we have to stay in this place where we continue to pray, that we continue to believe, that we continue to pull down and to fight, because there is such a demonic fight that is happening in the spiritual realm that we can't see. We don't see it, but we can feel it. And if you're an intercessor, you're probably being tossed and turned in the midnight hours as things are starting to unfold. I mean, I know a lot of people who are intercessors who have really had very restless sleep. They've had really hard times falling asleep, and they've been having these dreams, and they've been having these battles, and they've been fighting, and they've been contending, and then they wake up and they're exhausted and they're like, what the heck? Well, our spirit doesn't sleep. Our spirit doesn't sleep. And so if you say, Lord, I'm willing, use me whenever you need, well, don't be surprised if God doesn't use you while you're asleep. I'm just saying, and I'm just reading something that's like really kind of crazy, about how that there are things that can happen while we are asleep, that sometimes, the enemy can try and steal our consciousness while we're asleep, and just put those doubts and put those fears and put all that stuff, so that when you wake up, you can be like, oh, this is too big. We're not going to be able to win. We're not going to be able to see the victory. I don't know. I think that God has turned his back. And I just keep wanting to say, no, we need to hold tight to our promise. When the Lord said to me, Lisa, hold tight to your promises. Hold tight to your promises. The reason he said that to me is because he knew what was coming. He knew what was coming. He knew that I was going to get a disappointing conversation or a disappointing text, or I'm going to read something or see something that it was going to try to steal my enthusiasm for seeing the promises being fulfilled. And so what did he say to me? He said, Lisa, I want you to hold tight to those promises. And when I was talking to Debbie Kitterman last night, she said, Lisa, I was telling you to go back to your promises. Sometimes we have to go back to the words that have been spoken. What has God said in your life? What are some of the prophecies that you still have, that you have written? What are the things that you haven't seen come to pass? Because there is a moment that we have to kind of press in, and we have to not give up on those promises. We have to continue to watch them, and we have to sow into them by believing, by praying, sometimes by fasting. Fasting's not a religious thing, but sometimes it's a God thing, because when we can take that time where we're not going to we're not going to fill ourselves up with the flesh. And what can that possibly mean? Well, let's see. If you like to, have something sweet and that gives you comfort, well, then maybe it's time for you to fast, so you're not taking those sweets, so that you can do and be everything that God has called you to be, that you can trust in Him, that you can say that He's going to be the one who's going to. That's not for a piece of pie. A piece of pie is not going to give you the fulfillment of the things that have been promised to you. What you're going to see, though, is you're going to see that as you fast and you give up that thing and you trust in God, you're going to start to see that God is going to do what He says He's going to do. And that's really where I kind of feel right now. I believe that there are a lot of things that God is trying to do and is trying to bring His church to a new level, where He says, don't give up on the promises. When He gave the promises to Abraham, He said, look in the sky. And He said, look in the sand. Look in the sky and look in the sand. That's what He said. He says, if you look at the sky, what's above you? Look at the stars. Look at the stars that are in the heavens, right? So shall be your descendants. That was a promise. And look at the sand. Look at the sand. The sand was a promise. Every place His feet treaded, He was on top of sand. And He said, so will the grains of sand be your descendants. See, there was a promise. And so He had to continually encourage Abraham to walk through and to see the promises fulfilled. But He gave him reminders. He gave him something to look at. He gave him a visual. That's what I wanted to encourage you today, is that God has placed visuals in your life, whether it's been a written word that has been given to you, a prophecy that's been given to you. Sometimes it could be an audio, but I believe that there are things that you need to surround yourself with, and I believe you need to remind yourself of the promises. If God has said He's going to do it, don't you know He will? Don't you know He will? So you have to take those promises, and sometimes you have to pin them up, and you have to say, no, this is going to come to be. No, my family are going to serve the Lord. Me and my house shall be saved, that the Lord is going to be my protector, that the Lord is going to be my provider. All of these things, that the Lord is my healer, that it was finished at the cross. Whatever those promises were, I know that I've been called to be a mouthpiece for God. So when we start to see all of these things, when we start to understand all of these things, we can start to walk into the fulfillment of the promises that God has. So you have to just kind of hold on to them. Just hold on to them. Don't worry about what you're seeing. Don't worry about what is being said. Don't listen to the false news, the fake news. You just have to keep saying, no, I know what God said to me. I know what He said to me. I know that He has good plans for me. I know that He came to take care of me. I know that I have a book inside of me. I know that there is a song inside of me. Whatever that promise is, you have to hold tight of it. I know that God's going to restore my marriage. I know that God's going to restore my children. I know that God is going to restore my home. Whatever it is, I know He has a better job for me. I know He has a new house for me. What are those promises? What are the things that have been spoken to you in the secret place, in the dream state? What are the things that God, don't give up on them. Don't give up on them. Keep fighting, keep believing, keep contending. That's what we have to do in a tug of war. Do you know when the tug of war ends? When somebody gives up. That's when the tug of war is over. See, but if everybody is pulling on the same thing, if everybody is pulling on the same rope, if everybody is pulling in the same direction, we are going to have the victory. We can't let somebody else get tired. We can't let somebody else give up. They have to hold tightly to that rope. They have to hold tightly to those promises. And we're going to keep pulling on those promises and keep pulling on those promises, never letting up, never giving up. Just keep pulling on them and just contending and just believing and just seeing. And we are going to see what God has said. And we are going to see those promises come to fruition. We might not know how, we might not know when, but we can be certain that if he said it, he's going to do it. And even if there seems to be a delay doesn't mean that God has changed his mind. A delay doesn't mean that it's not going to come. That's not what a delay is. But sometimes a delay is because there's been a bigger battle than you even know. And so when you start to see those things and you start to understand those things, you are just going to be able to move in a freedom like you've never had before, never. Because you're going to say, no, I know that these promises are going to come to pass. I know that these things are going to come to pass. So I just really wanted to encourage you. I wanted to make this, short and sweet, but I really felt like we just need to keep contending, keep praying. Don't give up. Don't let go of that rope, the rope of promise. Don't give it up. Don't let the enemy come and steal your crown. Don't let him come and take your victory. Just like I was saying a couple of days ago about the letter to the Church of Philadelphia. Don't let him take your crown. Don't let him mess. Don't let somebody mess with the promises. Those are your promises. If you had a baby inside of you, would you let somebody come and take it? No, you would fight. You would stand there and you would fight. You wouldn't let anybody come near. Well, we got to be the same way with our promises. We have to stand so sure and so confident that, and God, I love that word, confident. So confident that God is with us, that he is for us, and that we are going to see him show up and show off. I believe that when everybody is speaking the same darn thing, and every single prophet, well, not every single prophet, but the true prophets of God, they're all saying the same thing with no apologies, with not backing down, because they know what it's like to contend. Because when you get a prophetic word is not a done deal. Prophetic word means that you're going to have to contend for it, because guess what? The enemy wants to steal it. He wants to steal it. And you just have to know that if God has said it, that means he's in it. And if he's in it, it's in it to win it. But it's up to you. What are you going to do? And I really believe in this time frame, we all need to stand together, and we need to keep pulling on that promise. We need to keep pulling on that promise and pulling it down. And where it says on earth as it is in heaven, we have to see those things. So I just want to bless you guys. Have a fantastic weekend, and I am just telling you that God is doing something, and he's doing something so big that you won't even believe it. You can't even believe it. When our certain friend says that it is going to be biblical, it is because it is going to be biblical, because God is going to be a part of it. But that also means that we have to do our part. God's going to do his part. We're going to keep praying and believing and not ceasing in prayer. We're just going to keep praying and praying and praying and praying and praying until we feel the breakthrough. Nobody's ever said stop praying. Nobody's ever said that you need to stop. Nobody's ever said, oh, we're good now, everybody can stop praying. Nobody's ever said that. Nobody has ever said that. What we are saying, though, is that you can't be moved by what you're seeing. You just can't be moved. And so we just have to keep saying, okay, Lord, I know what you're doing, and I know you're in this, and I trust you, and I believe, and I am going to stand my ground, and I'm going to hold on to every single promise that you have given me. And I just really believe, is it going to be biblical? Well, biblical means God's in it. Think about all the biblical things that have happened in the Bible. Think about the places where the Red Sea parted. Think about how David took down Goliath. Think about how Samson was able to pull down the pillars. Think about how Jezebel was thrown down and eaten by dogs. Think about how Jesus multiplied the fishes and the loaves. Think about how the fish jumped into the boat Think about how God turned back time. Think about how he gave the king another 15 years. Would you like me to continue? I can tell you lots and lots of times where when it says biblical, it means that it was something that happened it was in the Bible, but there was an overthrowing in Esther, in the book of Esther, where they were going to decimate all of the Hebrews, the Israelites were going to be gone. They were going to be wiped out, annihilated. And how many times has that happened? I mean, even if you look at the Nazis, they were trying to get rid of the Jews. It's the lineage of Jesus Christ. Come on. We have to understand biblical is something where God is a part of. It's not something that man can do, and it's not something that we can explain, but it's something that is so supernatural, because God is supernatural. And when he started to talk to me, and he started to talk to me about Esther, and he said that when Jesus came, when I came, they all thought that I was coming to overturn the Roman rule and the Roman government. He says, but that's not why I came. I came to set the captives free. He said, but when my children were on the brink of decimation, he says, and in Esther, he says, that's where you saw my hidden hand. And that's what I believe we are going to see. I believe we are going to see the hidden hand of God. And just like he has said, if you look in the story, that Haman was building a gallows for Mordecai, and Mordecai was Esther's uncle, and he hated him and he wanted him dead. He wanted him dead. But do you know what? God saw everything, and the same noose that was prepared for Mordecai actually was the noose that went around Haman's neck. Come on. There is something that there is so many things where it talks about, in the end of days, that there will be rumors of war, and there's going to be all of these things, rumors. Let's even look at that. Rumors. There's rumors of war. And there's going to be famine and all of these things. But my goodness, haven't we been hearing that for so long, that this is when God is coming back? This is when God is coming back. But we don't know the minute or the hour or the time when Jesus comes back. But I will tell you, when Jesus comes back, man, it is game over. It is game over. And I do believe that he has given us this time, that he has held back Jesus coming, maybe. I don't even know. But I'm just saying that I saw the hand of the Lord holding something back, because I saw the prayers. And so I believe that our prayers, that we can't let them go down, because remember, the prayers of the righteous need to outweigh the iniquity of man. That's what we need to start seeing. So we need to balance out this scale. And how do we do that? By continually praying. It says, pray without ceasing. Pray without ceasing. If you pray in tongues, you need to pray in tongues, because you're praying the perfect will of God. So as you're praying and you're declaring and you're decreeing, and we're fighting in these spiritual places, but we have to understand, what are we fighting for? We are fighting for our promises. What is our promise? Where it says, in Jeremiah 29:11, it says, I know the plans for you, says the Lord. I know the plans for you. God knows our plans, that there are books that have been written. If you read in Revelation 3, it says that they open the books. There are things that are written in the books in heaven. So and he says, I will open doors that no man can open, and I will shut doors that no man can close. That we are. So we have to continually pray for those open doors from the Lord. We need to pray for those doors to be closed. And if we want to say, okay, Lord, I want you to open up those doors for my promises. Lord, open up those doors for the things that you have prepared for me. Lord, close those doors that are blocking or stopping my promises from being fulfilled. Remove those stumbling blocks. And that's where we partner in with the angels, because when Daniel started to pray, it was an angel who appeared to him 21 days later, right? That's what he saw, and said that God wanted to do it immediately, but there were problems. And so we have angels who war on our promises. We have to come back to the place where we say, angels, can you go and war promises that God has given me? Because there are promises that have yet to be fulfilled. There are promises. So I really just wanted to encourage you this weekend that today, from this point on, that you continue not only to pray for our nation, to pray for our president, to pray for the fulfilling of what God wants to do with America, how he wants to bless America, how he wants to take care of America, but also how he also wants to give you your promises, how the time of delay is no more. I really believe that we're coming out of this time of delay, and I feel that things are going to start picking up momentum really, really quick. I really believe that God is going to start to show us who he is, that he is the fulfiller of the promises, that he puts those promises inside of our hearts, that he starts to tell us all of these things and starts speaking to us even as we sleep, and starts to prepare us to believe for the bigger things. That's where I really believe we are. So if you start to contend, if you start to pray without ceasing, if you start to just believe that what God has said is true, that you will start to see. It says, so as a man thinketh, so is he. So when we start to think that God is going to do, we're going to start to see those things. So I just really wanted to just give you a little bit of a little jolt of faith, a little jolt of just energy, a little bit of a encouragement, because I know that people are weary and we need to sharpen each other. Iron sharpens iron. And I really believe that as we can sharpen each other, as we can encourage each other, as we can start strengthening each other and saying, we got this, we have this. I think that's why it's so important to be very careful what you're feeding your mind. If what you are seeing, if what you are reading is causing discouragement, turn it off. Turn it off. Go find things that are going to give you life, things that are going to speak destiny, that are going to speak purpose, that are going to start to speak the goodness of God. Don't worry about the other stuff. That other stuff is there. Be careful what you watch. Be careful what you put your attention to. Read books that talk about how God did the impossible. Listen to testimonies that where people have shared the impossible that became possible. If you have stories, write your stories. Write your stories down and start telling people, this is what God did for me. And if he did it for me, won't he do it again? If he did it for me, won't he again? That's what we have to understand. God is so good and he is so faithful. And so when I felt this morning, this is what I was going to talk about, there was a timing in it. And the timing was really about, don't rush this process. Don't rush this message. Just to say what needs to be said. Encourage those who need to be encouraged. Tell people to listen. Tell my children, don't give up on their dreams. Don't give up on their promises. Hold tight onto them. Keep those close to you. Keep them close to your heart. Keep them in your vision. Keep them in your vision. Write them down. It says in Habakkuk 2:2, it says, write the vision and make it clear. Though it may tarry, it will come. Wait, is that right? Hold on. I have to go back to Habakkuk 2:2 because I really feel like I have to read this to you. Let me just go, because I really think that this is important. Hold on just 1 second. I'm just going to get here really quick. I'm going to go to the Amplified because I believe that there is something, because I'm not a big, okay. I'm going to read it. It says, God answered the prophet. It says, I will stand at my guard post and station myself on the tower, and I will keep watch to see what he will say to me and what answer I will give, as he is spokesman when I am reproved. Then the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and engrave it plainly on clay tablets, so that the one who reads it will run. For the vision is yet for the appointed, the future time. It hurries towards its goal of fulfillment. It will not fail. Even though it delays, wait patiently for it, because it will certainly come. It will not be delayed. Come on. See, this is what I'm saying. See, God he always knows. He always knows what to say, right? He does. He just knows exactly. And I just want to see if I can hold on, I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna read it in a different version because I really feel we're going to, okay. Then it says, hold on, in the Message, it says, what God's going to say to my questions. I embrace for the worst. I'll climb to the lookout tower and scan the horizon. I'll wait to see what God says, how he'll answer my complaint. And then God answered, write this, write what you see, write it out in big block letters so that it can be read on the run. This vision message is a witness pointing to what's coming. It aches for the coming. It can hardly wait, and it doesn't lie. If it seems slow in coming, wait. It's on its way. It will come right on time. Listen to that. And then God answered, write this, write what you see, write it out in big block letters. Come on. Then it says, in the New King James Version, it says, I will stand my watch and set myself on the rampart and watch to see what he will say to me and what I will answer when I am corrected. Then the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain on tablets that he may run who reads it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it will speak and it will not lie. Though it tarries, wait for it, because it surely will come. It will not tarry. It will not tarry. It will not tarry. That's what we have to understand. God's timing is so perfect. If God would have opened up the Red Sea prematurely, then maybe the Egyptians would have been able to cross over. If God would have done things prematurely, they might not have seen the breakthrough. We have to understand that God understands timing. He has perfect timing. His timing is impeccable. He's never late. He's always on time. The problem is we have been taught and we've been called to be impatient because we think everything should be happening now. Everything should be when we want it. But God says that there are things outside that you're not seeing, that there are things that I'm moving behind the scenes, though you don't see it. But I still want you to write it down. I still want you to be able to read it so when it comes, you can run with it, that you can actually see the things that I've called you and I've said to you, and that it's not going to tarry. That means it's going to show up on time. It's not going to be a late word. It's not going to be a late word. It's going to be an on-time word. And that's exactly what I believe we're in. We're in this season where we're going to see God's timing. We are going to see his perfect timing. And I'm just going to say this. Our president understands timing, guys. He understands timing. The man, he knows. He knows. He seriously knows when the time is right. He knows. Because you can't do some of the deals. You can't have some of the things that have happened if the timing is off. So I just want you to remember that, to write those things down, put them in front of you so that you can see them and start decreeing and declaring them. Start saying them. Start saying what God has said about you, he's going to do. Because I truly believe that you are going to see the best. The best things are going to come. Trust me when I say that. So I just want you guys to have an awesome, awesome weekend. I will see you guys on Monday. We're going to pray. Just keep doing, keep standing. Just keep reading over those promises. Hold on to them. Keep them close to you, because I am telling you, you are going to see the fulfillment of each and every one of those promises. All right, guys, have a fantastic weekend. Keep everybody in prayer. Keep the people who've been standing on the front lines in prayer. And, of course, keep our president in prayer. All right, love you guys. Take care. Bye-bye.